Aric Almirola, and Aric drives the number 43 Smithfield Ford for Richard Petty Motorsports. Aric, certainly a tough situation for you last week at Chicagoland. You were running so well and then had the issues with the engine. Maybe just talk about how you've dealt with that and your outlook for this weekend at New Hampshire.
Yeah, well, really, I mean, there's no, I think, good way to deal with that. I mean, I think the only thing we can do is forget about it, come to New Hampshire, and try and rebound. We got a really good race team. We had a really fast car at Chicago, and we were running solidly six with just over 30 laps to go, and I felt like we were maybe one adjustment away from being able to run top 5 in those closing laps. And it just wasn't meant to be. So we don't have anything to hang our heads about. Really proud of my race team for rising to the occasion. I think a lot of people in the media, tagged us as underdogs, and I was perfectly fine with that because we were. But we showed up at Chicago, and we showed up ready to race this chase. And, we were going to get off to a good start. And it didn't happen. So we'll have to come here to Loudon and try and score max points, whatever that is, and we'll go to Dover and do the same and see what happens. Hopefully we can transfer the next round because I feel like we're extremely capable of racing with the Jimmy Johnsons and Jeff Gordons and those guys. We proved that at Chicago, and we've proved that the last few weeks, coming off of top 10s at Atlanta and Richmond. So we've dug ourselves a big hole, and we got a couple weeks to try and dig ourselves back out. And even if we don't transfer the next round, at the end of the day, we're still racing, to try and be 5th in points by the time we get to Homestead. So we got a lot to race for, no matter what the circumstances are.
Okay, we'll take questions now for Aric, and we'll start with Reed. And then Lee.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service.
Don't you know that ladies are first? Well, especially your wife.
I hear too much of that at home. So.
Yeah.
But at any rate, last week I think you mentioned that was your first engine failure in forever. In talking about it during the week afterwards, did you find out what the problem was? And
yeah,
was it perhaps was your engine set up perhaps more aggressive than normal for that first chase race?
Yeah, I talked to Doug this week, and it ended up being a broken exhaust valve. And it was the same thing that happened to the 22, I guess, at Kentucky, and it was the same thing that happened to the 9 car at Atlanta. So they've had a couple issues already this year, and they thought they had it fixed. They changed the way the valves were designed, and thought that it wasn't going to be an issue anymore. And I guess it was again. So talked to Doug. He was heartbroken for us. He was extremely apologetic. But no, it was nothing. Nothing different than what we've been running. The past couple months. So. My hat goes off to Doug Yates. He builds awesome horsepower for us, and we went back and looked. It is the first time we've not finished a race because of an engine failure. So, in 3 years I've been at Richard Petty Motorsports, of all weekends for it to happen, the first race of the chase. I mean, why could it have not happened at Atlanta or Richmond or wherever else? But it is what it is. It just wasn't meant to be. The stars didn't line up right for us at Chicago, but we'll rebound.
Lee
Spencer, Motorsport.com. We had several callers this morning on Sirius mispronounce your name. Just for everybody out there, to start out, will you please give us the correct pronunciation?
Yeah. So I'm extremely used to that. It doesn't really bother me. I think most people get offended when their name gets mispronounced, but my name's been mispronounced since I was in kindergarten. My kindergarten teacher had trouble saying my name. So it's Aric, just like with an E, but it's spelled with an A, and it's Almirola. So it's pretty simple, but I guess when you look at it, it can be confusing.
Okay, now since to the serious questions, since the news is out about your teammate, can you kind of talk a little bit about what type of input you'll have on his replacement and what he's meant to help building the company?
Yeah, Marcus has been fantastic for Richard Petty Motorsports. He was there, I think, a year before me. And so he was there at probably its darkest hour, when with the Gillette split and bankruptcy, and Richard putting a lot of his own money to keep the team alive and going from 4 cars down to 2. So, Marcus has seen a lot of that company and helped build it to where it is today, and extremely appreciative of that, because I get to reap the benefits of that. And I feel like I was a big part of that, but I came in a year later. He's probably been one of the best teammates that I've ever worked with. He's such a fun guy and a lot of fun to be around, and he's an extremely good race car driver. I know he doesn't give himself the credit he deserves on the ovals. We all know he's probably the world's best road course racer, but he's damn good on the ovals too. And so that's been a lot of fun to be a teammate with him, and we do a lot of off-track stuff together too. We've went and done numerous hikes around the circuit, California, Phoenix, Vegas, a lot of West Coast. We'd go on hikes together. We've gone fishing here in Loudon and Michigan and stuff like that. So we spend a lot of time away from the racetrack together, and we've become really good friends. So I'm extremely sad to see him go as my teammate, but I'm happy for him. I'm happy for his family that they're going to get to go back to Australia, and now me and my family got a place to stay when we want to go visit Australia. So so excited about that.
Let's go to Zach and then Steve Richards. Zach?
Zach Albert, NASCAR.com. And kind of following up on that, how important was it to get that vote of confidence that will remain a 2-car team going forward? And how important is it just for RPM's livelihood just to stay a 2-car stable and share information and all?
Yeah, it's really important. You know what I mean? You see, most of the top teams in the sport, or all of the top teams in the sport, are multi-car teams, and that's important to have that resource of teammates and more information. And I think anytime you do things with just one person, it becomes really easy to get stuck in your ways and not be able to see outside the box. But as soon as you get more information, more teammates, more heads thinking on the same thing, it opens your eyes to a lot of different opportunities as far as setups and people and ways to go about setting your cars up and processes in the shop. So I think anytime something like this is going down, it's important for the guys, and first and foremost the guys at the race team, to know that, hey, you're okay, you're safe. We're not shutting a car down. We're gonna have 2 cars and we're gonna go racing. So that's first and foremost of the importance, to let those guys know that they're okay. But on top of that, just for everything that we've built over the last 4 or 5 years to this point, and being a winning race team and a chase contending race team, to let everybody know that's still our goal, and we're not backing down from that. And we have the best sponsors that are still with us at Richard Petty Motorsports. Smithfield Foods has stepped up, and they're already trying to figure out ways how they can help the 9-car. And there's a lot of good talks going on right now, with them and with companies that they deal with, on getting sponsors on the 9-car. And they got Twisted Tea, I think, already signed up and stuff. So there's a lot of good stuff going on with the 9-car, and we have a lot to be excited about for next year as well. So I don't think anybody's worried. I think it was just for you guys to be able to put out that release to say, hey, don't start speculating. We're good.
Let's go to Steve.
Steve Richards, the PRN. How have people mispronounced your name in the past?
Oh man, you name it. Amarillo is usually the number one go-to. I think that's a city in Texas, right? Yeah. So I'm just kidding. That's usually the number one go-to. Every once in a while we get armadillo. That's a rodent for those unfamiliar. Those are probably the two most common.
Now, how about Dover? I mean, talk about that track, and no matter what the finishes say, how do you run there?
Yeah, I've actually run really well there. My first ever nationwide race there, I showed up and had to start dead last in a Joe Gibbs Racing nationwide car, and I think I finished 7th. And my first time there in a Cup car, finished 6th in 2012. So I won my first truck race there. So I've always had good results there, and always ran really well, and I like that racetrack. Of all the racetracks on the circuit, that one and Homestead are probably my two favorites. So I'm glad if it doesn't work out here at Loudon, I'm glad that's kind of my last ditch effort to try and win a race. I couldn't pick a better place for me as a driver that of a racetrack that I enjoy going to.
Let's go to Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. I know points are kind of hard to figure or speculate on, but when you're looking at Chicagoland, you were the only guy who finished like outside the top 25, so there's still like not a lot of separation there. Does that maybe, in a weird way, that there's not a lot of people in your situation, does it give you a little bit of confidence that some bad days could be happening here? If you guys have a good day Sunday at New Hampshire, like there's a lot of guys who could maybe fall back behind you.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not banking on that. It doesn't give me any confidence, no. I mean, we have to go out, and we all know this, all the guys on my team and myself included know, we got to go out, and for our best shot, without winning, for our best shot to transfer, we got to run top 5 the next 2 weeks, no doubt about it. And we got to hope that the guys that are already down in points run 20th to 25th. I think right now we're 23 points out of 12th. So if we run 5th and Carl runs 20th, that's 15 points. So that puts us within 7 going to Dover. You know what I mean? It makes it a reality getting to Dover. But we got to take a big chunk out here. What we can't do is come here and run 25th. I think the writing would be on the wall that we just have to go to Dover and win. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But no, I don't feel confident. I think that all the guys are going to try and limit their mistakes, and they're not, especially the guys right there, 8th to 13th, 14th, they're going to try and not have any big mistakes and finish 40th because it just takes you right out of it.
Aric, thanks for coming in,
Yep,
and good
thanks,
luck
guys.
this weekend.
Thank you.